Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Skull Session Recruiting Podcast, brought to you by BuckeyeHuddle.com. I'm Mark Givler. Got Kevin Noon with me here. It's our signing day special. We're doing recruiting capsules on all of the players who sign with Ohio State. We will talk about their commitments to Ohio State, their signing with Ohio State, what type of player the Buckeyes are getting. We'll roll a couple minutes of film so everyone can kind of watch watch some high school film of these guys if you're one of those people who doesn't follow it super closely until signing day. And just to kind of have a discussion about their, positions on the roster and everything else that we can kind of expect here moving forward. But we are going to talk about the big fish in this episode, five-star quarterback Tavien St. Clair, Bellefontaine, Ohio, considered one of the top handful of players in the entire country. This was a huge commitment for Ohio State. This was a guy who I saw early, and I thought, well, he's, and we're talking like going into their sophomore year. And I thought, well, he's definitely a Big Ten kid, but is he an Ohio State kid? Like, I don't know. He was skinny. He was a little over aggressive, I would say, as far as kind of taking chances with the football. And then I saw him after his sophomore year at the Elite 11 camp, and he had put on like 30 pounds and was slinging the ball like you couldn't believe. And you started watching his film as he matured, and the ball wasn't being put in jeopardy nearly as much anymore. The accuracy was tremendous. He's always been mobile. He's been a mobile guy. And he just took off. Like, this kid just went from a kid, I'm like, okay, definite Big Ten kid, to, wow, this kid's a 5-star. This kid's the best player in the state of Ohio. And I know, Kevin, you saw him early as well. I guess, how significant do you think his development was from like the first time you saw him to like where he is now? I mean, for me, he's an all-timer. Like, he's one of, like, if you asked me, like, okay, Mark, you've been doing this almost 15, 20 years, almost 20 years now. Like, who are some of the guys who improved the most from like early in their high school careers to like the end of their high school careers? Like, the first name out of my mouth might be Tavien St. Clair. He's definitely like among the top few for me.
To use something from the acting world, he went from being in the ensemble, being somebody who was just like a background player, maybe played a tree or a rock in the play, to being the leading man. I mean, he really blew up. I mean, because I remember seeing him at that early camp, and I'm like, yeah, he's all right. Which one is he again? Which player? Him? Yeah, I mean, okay. All right, he's the guy. I mean, he is the guy. And Ohio State had some other the state of Ohio had some other guys in the same class who are all very talented. But, Tavien St. Clair went from being that's probably not the direction Ohio State is going to. Ohio State could really land him to, that's the guy Ohio State has to get. And that was kind of the situation. And, we were at the camp the day that he committed. And I mean, it was like, everybody was buzzing. I mean, it was, we all kind of caught wind before it went down. And then we kind of had a chance to like witness it go down on the indoor field at the Woody. Definitely hit the nail on the head for a kid that really improved a ton from, the early impressions to the point of where, he was ready to, make a commitment.
Yeah, I literally went from saying he was a Big Ten kid, but I'm not sure what Ohio State's going to do there other than just continue to evaluate him, to a kid that I literally backed Ohio State's decision to. Quite frankly, they took themselves, they knew, we're going to take Tavien St. Clair, we're going to voluntarily remove ourselves from the Bryce Underwood sweepstakes, who is the other big name 5-star quarterback nationally in this class. They voluntarily did. And I actually I went from thinking, like, in 12 months, I went from Big Ten kid, we'll see with Ohio State, to, yeah, go ahead, take yourself out of the Bryce Underwood sweepstakes. Don't risk, you take this kid right now. And just a huge pickup for Ohio State this class. Definitely one of the top 2 or 3 players in this recruiting class for the Buckeyes, in my opinion. And a guy who did a lot for the Buckeyes in terms of helping them recruit down the stretch. So big-time leadership, great kid, ridiculously relentless worker on top of his physical ability. So let's throw in a little film, and you guys can kind of watch him here. This is actually this is my film. This is the film I did. This is great. This is from the season opener of his senior year, where he had a big time game, and You can just see, you can throw on the run. So he makes these like off platform type of throws that he can make. He can hurt you with his legs. He can be almost scary accurate on some of these like high difficulty throws that you think, well, that's a tough throw. And he makes it look very easy. He's got big time arm strength. And oh yeah, he's like 6'5", like 230 pounds. He's an absolute monster. But like that throw to the pylon there is just a perfect throw. I mean, there's very little room there to make that throw. There's about a 3x3 foot little window box there that ball can go in, or it's not going to be completed. And he's really improved his deep ball. That's something he can do as well. There's a great shot down the middle of the field there. Just an impressive kid, but you're going to see some running ability on this film as well. And this is where I think to me, I've kind of said like he is kind of a rich man's Will Howard, and that's not a shot at Will Howard, who's done a great job at Ohio State, but like he's like Will Howard body, but he's like even more athletic, even stronger arm, like everything you would like about Will Howard, like times like a little bit extra, like just a little bit extra on everything else. So he's really for me a prototype in today's modern offenses. Just everything.
I may have flipped it before his runs. We try to keep.
No problem. Well, take my word for it. You can go check out if it's clipped before his runs. Go to youtube.com/Buckeye Huddle. Type in Tavien St. Clair, it'll show up. But there were so many highlights. Well, here he is. Now here he's taken off. But just a freakish athlete and a guy who I think has an incredibly bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge get. And the thing is, you look at how Ohio State has been stacking quarterbacks, and we can't predict what's going to happen post 24. I mean, obviously, I think the belief is that they could lose one, they could lose two. You can't unring a bell. I'm never going to put a kid in the portal before he puts himself in the portal. The inclusion of Tavien St. Clair really helps round out the Ohio State quarterback room, whether or not they're sitting at 3 or 4, whatever the hell that may be. But this is a huge get. And in Ohio State, a lot of times goes and gets the guys who end up becoming a big deal. I mean, CJ Stroud was a 3-star. I mean, they weren't, he wasn't being talked about all that much. I mean, you sit there and you look at some of the quarterbacks they brought in, but now Ohio State is in the realm of where it is bringing in 5-star quarterbacks. There's probably not a program out there that is more synonymous with, a quarterback-friendly system than Ohio State. So, I'm in some ways, I'm almost surprised it's taken this long. I mean, obviously Julian Sayin was a 5-star, but he had a cup of coffee at Alabama before getting here. Aaron Noland, he worked his way up to, was he a high 4? Did he get down? Did he get to 5? I don't even remember at this point. I mean,
I feel like one service might have had him a 5.
Yeah, I was going to say he may have touched,
he was up there.
Yeah, I think he touched 5 with one service. So it's a testament to what they've been able to do with their quarterback recruiting, and that's all Ryan Day. I mean, and obviously, some of the older quarterbacks, Corey Dennis was involved. Now your quarterback coach is Chip Kelly. I mean, are you kidding me? So yeah, Ohio State really, in my opinion, is winning the quarterback derby out there. Obviously, Underwood is a tremendous talent. One of the other kids that Ohio State really was involved with was Bryant Montgomery, who suffered an injury this season. Wishing the best to Ryan as he looks like he's headed to Georgia. That's where the commitment was. But, I think everything worked out for a reason, and Ohio State got its guy.
Yeah, this was the guy they ultimately prioritized. And so you're getting the top of your board guy. And again, I think a guy who can be the face of your program. I think he's got the maturity and the right mentality to lead a college football program. So this was obviously a huge pickup when it happened, and someone that Ohio State fans should be very excited about him signing today. In terms of his fit on the roster early, and we'll kind of wrap up with that. Let's see. As Kevin mentioned, we have to kind of see how the transfer portal plays out this offseason. I think it's a matter of how many Ohio State loses. I can't envision a scenario where every quarterback comes back. And I'm obviously not counting Will Howard in that. He's going to go to the NFL, but I would have to imagine someone else on the roster is going to transfer this offseason. So whether that number is 1, whether that number is 2, who knows? And And then you don't know if they're going to bring in, like a Gunnar Hoke 4.0 or whatever we're on now.
Chris Chugginoff 10.0.
Yeah, just try to fill out the room a little bit. That may happen as well. But I think a reasonable expectation for Tavien St. Clair in year one is he'll probably end up taking a red shirt, which will end up probably being meaningless, because he doesn't feel like a 5-year guy at Ohio State. It would feel more like he's either going to be a star at Ohio State or he's not. And then either way, he's probably not a 5-year guy, but he probably doesn't play in enough games to like not redshirt, if that makes sense. But I could see him absolutely playing, getting in at the end of games, getting some reps, getting some snaps, similar to how Julian Sayin has been able to do so this year. I think that's probably the path for Tavien St. Clair next year. And then after that, it's kind of, could be anything. I mean, if Sayin's their guy next year, you've got to figure he's got at least 2 years to start, but who knows? You never know. I mean, Tavien's a talented kid. He's going to be able to push. I think once he's had a year in the program, I think he's going to be able to put himself firmly in the mix of whatever their quarterback situation is. So we will see. But again, love the pickup for Ohio State when it happened. Big time signing for the Buckeyes here on National Signing Day. Stay here with BuckeyeHuddle.com and at YouTube.com/BuckeyeHuddle, and we'll have capsules on everyone throughout the day and all sorts of other content on the website and here on the channel. So thanks everyone for watching and listening, and we will see you again soon.